they have told us many times until today, we are going to do whatever we want, and you can scream and shout about it, but nothing will change. A case in point, forget wars, forget Gaza, forget everything. We now know, all of us, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that our leaders are all pedophiles and predators and rapists. And they are covering up for the Epstein file. We know. Like, everybody knows. And it has become so public knowledge that, like, everybody is joking about it. In late night show, hey, our president is a pedophile. Our president. And just people are talking about it as if we're talking about the weather.
Joining me now is Bاسm Yusuf, a bit legendary. He was known as the Egyptian Jon Stewart for a while. He was the Daily Show's senior Middle East correspondent. He won the International Press Freedom Award by the Committee to Protect Journalism. And he's a comedian, writer, producer, surgeon, by the way, physician, media critic, and television host. So people sometimes say that I'm gonna have a heart attack on air, the way that I yell and scream. Good news, I got a physician here.
I'm gonna call 911. I can't help you. I'm out of the business. But by the way, where's Anna? I came here for Anna. I didn't come here for that guy. I like, the only reason I came on the Young Turks is like I wanted to meet Anna because I'm a big fan. Now I'm just stuck with that. Like, yeah, I'm just stuck with you. I can't be like I was duped.
So I like to think that I'm good at debating, right? But on this one, I surrender. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
You can't compete with Anna. Hi Anna, we miss you.
Okay. So Bاسm, so you're here. Although you went back to Egypt, so you were banned from Egypt.
No, I didn't go back to Egypt.
No, but didn't you do a show that was?
No, that was remote from Los Angeles.
No, I'm with you, but I mean like back on Egyptian television for.
Yeah. It was like a 4-part interview, talk about stuff. They kind of like they reach out and they wanted to have like a conversation about what's going on and kind of simplifying politics in America to people there. So I said, yeah, that's good. Maybe if they reach out, maybe things will get better for everybody. It's good.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Israel. Obviously, we're both animated about it in Gaza, etc. But I mean, you keep criticizing Israel. It's not like you've ever criticized Egypt.
That's why I'm here. Don't you say like we're equal opportunity offender? We criticize everything. We criticize the country we live in because we love it. And if you can't do it in your country, you find another country to do it somewhere else.
Yeah. So look, you were heavily criticizing the Egyptian government back in the day, and so did you not feel safe? How did leaving happen?
The thing is, there's so many ways that you're forced to stop or to quit or to leave. It doesn't have to be people with boots coming in, knocking on your doors. It could be, legal issues. It could be stuff that can actually hurt you, put you in prison. And that's the thing that happened to me over the 3.5 years that I was having the show. A little bit of investigation at the general prosecutor and then the Muslim Brotherhood. And then after that, a couple of like legal reasons. And then show suddenly, stops, the plug is pulled. So there's so many ways to skin a cat.
So back then it was the Muslim Brotherhood in charge of in Egypt.
The beginning and then the army.
Yeah. So
they both didn't like me.
Yeah, but you criticize Israel, but do you criticize the Muslim brother?
No, but now depending what you read, because if you read the Zionist Twitter, I'm a Muslim Brotherhood.
If you it's so ironic. The Muslim Brotherhood kind of kicked you out.
I'm an Islam. They call me an Islamo-Nazi. I don't know what the hell that means. I'm Islamo-Nazi. No, I'm Islamo-fascio-Nazi.
Of course, if you're going to make up words, why not add?
And then if you're Mamdani, they put a communist in the beginning.
Sure, of course. So is it communist, Islamo-fascist?
I feel we're collecting badges.
like Boy Scout badges.
Yeah, Boy Scout. Yes, like I'm an Islamo-Nazi fascist.
So the more you correctly criticize Israel, the more badges you get.
Yes. And I was actually I want to talk to Anna about this because she had this interview on her podcast with this sellout influencer Amy something, the Zionist woman, that one of those people.
Yeah.
And then she told her, like, you're receiving money from Israel. Like, I was never paid, of course. But then she said, by the way, I was already a pro-Israel influencer before even I met with Netanyahu. So even if Israel bankrolled me for this, why not? It's like, I've always been on the wrong side of history, but if they're gonna pay me, why not? I'm always been a racist Nazi, and if they pay me for this? I mean, better.
Yeah. I mean, look, so yesterday on Piers Morgan's show, I said the IDF is like the SS soldiers. Everybody lost their minds, right? But I mean, imagine if somebody like that.
The SS soldiers did not live stream themselves like dancing with the lingerie of the woman who they just killed.
Yeah, well, but imagine if somebody like, was it Emily Austin?
Emily Austin.
Yeah, somebody like Emily Austin said, well, I already agreed with the Holocaust.
Yeah,
I'm just taking money from the Germans on top. That's the cherry on top.
No, here's the thing. I have learned something looking at their debates. They have the audacity. They have this kind of audacity that they don't care, and then they hold you on much higher standards than they hold themselves.
Of course.
So they, whenever you say like, I'm again with Emily Austin and Anna, I was like, oh, you hate Jews, you hate Jews. Like I never said anything about Jews, but then they are free to say everything they need about Muslims, about how Islam is a radical ideology, about everyone is Hamas, everybody is Islamist, everybody is everybody that. And then if you even try to criticize Zionists who are not Jews, oh, you're hating the Jews. They are not interested in any kind of conversation. Like now when you have this thing that's like, oh, when she was like imitating Larry Ellison, and it's like, oh, she's doing a Jewish impersonation. Who mentioned Jewish? If it is in your brain and you're putting it up front, and then at the end of the day, what they want, they put a video that nobody will watch, and then they will write text that will describe something else happened in the video.
Yes.
You see how I'm sure that you have this, Sheng said so, and you never said that.
No.
Because nobody reads. It's always about the headlines.
Yeah. So two things about that. I mean, it happened to me just yesterday, but the one you're referring to when Anna did the hand thing, Canary Mission put up like the happy merchant meme, which I didn't even know, as if it was on there.
Yeah.
Like they right before the clip that they said, and right after we said. We explained how this is not about Jewish American brothers and sisters, and blah, 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 blah. We're down for like 5 minutes about how great Jewish Americans are. So they cut that out of the clip.
Of course.
They put the happy merchant meme. It's all doctored.
They know what they're doing. And it's kind of, I'm sure that everybody's on Twitter or on social media have noticed how the Zionist bots are just like out of control. They're like locusts now. Whenever you do, they have like a coordinated attack, and it's the same 50 accounts that you see all the time.
Yes.
And they copy paste their stuff, and they just like repost. It's just like a swarm. It's a swarm attack.
Yeah. So, well, there's a couple of things about that. Number one, they made the mistake of slightly admitting it because they had Israel hired SKDK. Yeah. So that's the Anita Dunn's group that she was the top advisor to Joe Biden. Yeah. It's like the top PR company in Washington. And somebody from SKDK said, yeah, we're going to use bots to help Israel.
Yeah.
So they're just saying it. They're just saying.
So that's why it doesn't mean anything. Like I don't know anybody who has actually the audacity to defend Israel unless they're a bot or paid or just some Indian dude who's like also paid for that, because the Indian accounts are just like going out of hand. The Indian Zionist accounts are crazy. Like,
my favorite is when they pretend to be other people.
Oh yeah. It's like when I was a little girl in Tel Aviv, dude, you're living in a slum in Karachi. What the hell?
So those are the bot farms that they're using in India and other places.
Yeah.
And then you got the folks who are pretending to be like that. My favorite the other day was, I'm a Turkish woman, and she's got Elif, which is a Turkish name, and the Turkish flag in her handle. Just so you know, she's a Turkish woman. Okay. She's like, and I am disgusted by your anti-Semitism. I love Israel so much. America should be giving more money to Israel.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure. You're a random Turkish woman who's obsessed with America giving more money to Israel.
Yeah, you see, that will not even a Turkish person who likes Israel will never say that in public.
Exactly. Like, because it's so random.
No, because the thing is, they are never interested in conversation or debates. They're interested to creating noise and confusion. Like any point has a counterpoint, even if the counterpoint is bullshit. I just like fill it with a counterpoint. I fill the air with that, because if they do that, they will already have ammunition for whatever it is to keep the noise going. Although you know that's wrong, but it doesn't matter. They need to just speak up.
Yeah. So Basim, that was invented originally by the cigarette companies, right? The tobacco companies.
Yeah.
So we don't need to get them to believe that cigarettes are good for them.
You need to be confused.
We just need them confused, so they're not sure if it causes cancer.
Exactly.
Then the oil companies did it with climate change, and then Israel's like, oh, that's perfect, because we don't need them.
I think Israel has been doing it way before these people.
Well, which brings me to Candace Owens' point. So these are all banned people. She's banned, you're banned, I'm banned, but here we are.
Yeah.
You know, so she said in a moment that I thought was actually startling. Oh, I get what happened my whole life. I was taught to hate Muslims so that when Israel said that we had to attack them, I was primed for, well, of course we have to give Israel money to take the occupied territories. And of course we have to attack Iraq because of fake weapons of mass destruction information, plus the dirty Muslims. Of course, I mean, they happen to be Israel's #1 enemy.
Yeah, and the thing is, the way that they do that is remember how the most common phrase Ben Shapiro and the likes use? There's no moral equivalency. There's more and more rivalry between Israel and Hamas. There's more rivalry between us and the enemy includes everybody. And then Noam Chomsky has an incredible video where he said, like, moral equivalency is a term that was invented by colonizers as a propaganda machine in order to prevent people to look at their own actions. So now they divide people into good guys and bad guys. So the good guys can do whatever they want, even if they nuke the bad guys. And the bad guys are always in the wrong, even if they defended themselves. So now Israel can do that, like they can just like wipe out like millions of people. Oh, they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's why when we're like and watching like Westerns, you've seen like Indians, Native Americans killed with hundreds, and you cheer because they're the bad guys. It's the same thing as zombies. You don't feel anything for zombies. You don't feel anything for vampires. You don't feel anything for savages. And this is why you're allowed to go in and nuke and throw napalm and create. And this has happened throughout American history. I mean, I'm still figuring things out. But like when I read a little bit about the Korean War, which is the forgotten war, and it's forgotten for two reasons. It was between two major wars, Vietnam and Second World War, and it's forgotten because nobody talks about it. Because if people talk about it with numbers, how many Vietnamese did America kill over 19 years of war in Vietnam?
A lot,
between 3 and 4 million.
Yeah, that sounds
They
about
killed
right.
about the same number in 3 years in Korea.
Wow, I did not know that.
Like about between 2.5 to 3 million people in 3 years. Can you imagine? This is like the Gaza Strip 0.5 in 3 years. They eliminated 3 million people. That's crazy. You see the number? That's why they never talk about it. And the atrocities that they did, there's like very known massacres that happened, that they would kill 250,000 people in 5 days.
That's unbelievable.
And the whole thing about napalm and like this all happened in Korea. Korea has that's why nobody talks about what happened in Korea, because how can you justify that?
So what's ironic about that is that then they'll use that and go, see, we did that in North Korea.
Exactly.
In Korea.
We
so
did it.
So why doesn't Israel get to murder all the Palestinians?
We had slavery before. Why not bring it back again? I mean, like we have you know, we used to rape women and enslave them. Let's do it again. It happened. Let's nuke them. It's crazy.
And part of the reason they do that is because it's a rhetorical trick where they want to say, are you blaming America for nuking Hiroshima or Nagasaki?
Yes.
Are you blaming America for murdering all those Koreans?
Yeah, and every time it's like Dresden was a war crime. Dresden was a war crime. And the fact that like the victors did it doesn't negate the fact that it was a war crime. And the fact that you just like can't bring like bad examples of history, it's like, hey, it happened before, we can happen again. And the reason why this whole International Court of Justice and the UN was created so these atrocities doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it was literally because of those atrocities that the world got together and said
never again.
Let's not do this again.
Never again.
Right.
Never again.
Robert McNamara was the Secretary of Defense, I believe, during the Vietnam War, but he was the main statistician and planner during World War II. And he has a famous line about, well, if we had lost, we would have been tried in the Nuremberg trials.
Yeah, 100%.
He said, well, of course. He said, we firebombed Tokyo and killed 500,000 people.
Unnecessary.
That's before the nukes.
And they raped 500,000 women in Germany. When they went into,
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No,
dude. You have to. 500,000 women was raped in Germany when the Allied and the Soviet forces were there. The Soviet did most of the raping, but there was like 500,000 women raped.
So look, guys.
So just like those people like talking about raping on the higher moral grounds, and it just like it doesn't work anymore.
Look, we're having an adult conversation here, right? So just because the Soviets and maybe some of our guys raped a lot of German women doesn't mean the Germans were right. Right?
No,
but two wrongs can two things can be true at the same time. The Germans were horribly wrong in the Holocaust, but that didn't mean that we should firebomb Dresden, we should firebomb Tokyo, we should drop nukes.
They would blanket everybody as a Nazi, blanket everybody as an Islamist, blanket everybody as Hamas, so you don't have to think too much about it.
Yeah, and so I read some firsthand accounts. I love history. So when I was in college and in law school, I studied international war crimes, and I studied genocides, I studied these topics, and one of the things is in Europe, the Turks were considered constantly propagandized as the barbarians. The barbarians at the gate, because we came all the way up to Vienna, we took Southern Europe, right? So every piece of propaganda was horns and demonic. And so like if you kill a Turk, you're doing God's work, right? So that's exactly to your point. But that was centuries ago, right? And so here we come all the way up to yesterday. And to prove your point, Randy Fine and I were on Piers Morgan together, and he said, "Well, you're a Muslim." And
did he eat up Piers Morgan because that guy is so?
Yeah, I know. He joined live from a buffet.
Okay.
So even I get to make that joke because of Randy Fine. Okay. Anyways, and he said, "Well, Israel is surrounded by Muslims."
Yeah, and
that's it.
And
that's the justification for killing
all Muslims. Oh my God!
And then, by the way, then he'll say you're an anti-Semite if you criticize Israel. So wait. Saying we should kill Muslims just because they're Muslims is not bigotry, but criticizing Israel's genocide is bigotry.
But you see, he knows who he's talking to. He's not talking to you. He's not talking to your audience. He's talking to the people in the middle who doesn't know, and he talks to his audience who's like, yeah, Muslims are bad. Like they are surrounded by vampires. They can do anything. You see, they have done their homework over 70 years. And all of the movies that have been done. Now I look at remember True Lies?
Oh yeah.
Directed by James Cameron, who directed Titanic, who directed
Avatar.
Yes, and then it's like this. They are like outside of New York and Los Angeles. There are like people in America will have no idea about what a Muslim is other than that movie or similar movies.
Yeah,
and so they have been embedding this into people's mind for so long that now we have to work from all the way back. It's like, guys, we're humans.
Yeah,
we deserve to live like you. We need to have like an equal level of conversation about what does it mean to have a human life.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, since I loved history, I wondered what I would do if I was, alive during the Holocaust or any of these big genocides, right? Or what I would do if I was alive during the Civil Rights Movement, right?
You would do exactly like what you do now. Can't do anything. We are helpless. And the thing is, we know this whole fantasy about like if people knew all the time. We knew, and now we know. Like, why go far? Look at the Iraq War. Do you remember the demonstrations? Thousands of people, similar to the Palestinian, millions. And everybody know that like Colin Powell was lying, and everybody knew it was lying, and then they did it anyways. And this is the thing about what is happening in the West world right now. It is like kind of like shocking for many people like me who want to come to America and believe actually America, stands for many of those values of freedom and transparency. Is that they have told us many times until today, we are going to do whatever we want, and you can scream and shout about it, but nothing will change. A case in point, forget wars, forget Gaza, forget everything. We now know, all of us, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that our leaders are all pedophiles and predators and rapists. And they are covering up for the Epstein file. We know. Like everybody knows. And it has become so public knowledge that like everybody is joking about it. In late night show, hey, our president is a pedophile, our president. And just people are talking about it as if we're talking about the weather. we're so desensitized. Like, yeah, half of Congress must be in those files, and that's why they're not releasing it. And they are in this position. And this is why I remember how Americans would make fun of us, like, oh my God, like you cannot talk about anything. You cannot talk about how corrupt your politicians are in the Middle East. That's why nothing never changes. But here, we can talk about everything, but nothing ever changes.
Yeah. So I actually...
We're in the same position.
Yeah, I'm way more optimistic than you because I'm seeing a lot of things change right now. And so we could...
No, I'm the pessimist.
I know. We'll debate that. But I think that the big difference, and first I'll go make your point, right? So mainstream media in this country, I think, are actually the biggest liars.
Oh, yeah.
They claim that they're the most objective.
The Iron Dome of Israel.
Yeah, and so they are in a lot of ways, right? So they're the ones who smeared Muslims our whole lives. Candace is right about that. It wasn't the dentist who did it. It was the media who did it.
Yeah.
And it was, back then, there was no online media. All there was mainstream media. They did it. They lied over and over and over again, smeared all Muslims, protected Israel in every imaginable way.
Yeah.
And if, unlike today, if you said anything critical of Israel, even the slightest bit, 2 years ago, you're instantly fired, instantly. It's an automatic death sentence in your career in media or politics if you said something against Israel. So, and then, by the way, you'll say, well, that seems like you're controlling anyone who is against you, and they'll say, how dare you're fired.
Yeah, well, how dare you say something that's so true. You're anti-Semitic. It's so anti-Semitic to say what's happening in front of your eyes.
And that's why I'm gonna fire you. Well, you're proving my point.
Yes.
You're proving my point, right? So they don't see, in fact, Katie Miller, again, on Piers Morgan yesterday, I was on with her, she threatened to deport me, denaturalize and deport me because I criticized Israel.
Yeah.
What is this? So, okay, but now, Bassa, making my point on hope, but now the right wing is beginning to see it. Jewish Americans are largely voting for Mamdani. Under 45 years old, 67% of Jewish New Yorkers supporting Mamdani. At a Turning Point USA conference yesterday, we covered on the show today, one of the Christian right-winger asked J.D. Vance, why are we supporting Israel, right? Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, all of a sudden on fire and starting to tell people, this is all a lie. There is no special ally, it's just made up. Every nonsense piece of propaganda you heard about why we owe Israel is just a fabrication of mainstream media. So, like, do you see that hope?
I see that, but like, there's where the pessimism comes from, because my highest point in the last 2 years when the university protests broke up, it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's like a huge shift. Then I saw how over time this was absorbed, killed, doxed, like everybody was hurt, people lost their jobs, and now this year you don't see a single campus with any like protests. So the thing is, they take the first shock and then they work around it in order to kind of flip things, but over time. We see all of these vocal names, yes, but what was happening is that they are spending so much money on the other side in order to take over HBO, take over TikTok, whatever. And so so the number of people who are aware are increasing, but over time they are flooding it with more mainstream media, more control. HBO and TikTok will be like a Zionist bot. It's just not gonna.
TikTok's already gone.
It's done.
They've started banning people. Right?
They're already banning people, and over time, in 5-10 years from now, whoever is vocal right now will be either alone or be kind of, segregated or being put on the side, not being in mainstream media again, because this is what they do. It's just like, I think we're looking at this, but I have seen now what they're doing, and they're in 10 years, like nobody now remembers Iraq. Nobody now remembers, like,
but they're bringing it back, and people are saying, I mean, the right wing is saying they were wrong about. Anna went on Glenn Beck's show. Glenn Beck nearly crying about how wrong he was about the Iraq War. Tucker says he was wrong about the Iraq War.
So what?
They hate Dick Cheney.
But they are like, they say this after the fact, after the harm has done. Like, people will come and cry about Gaza in a couple of years, but Gaza is destroyed, and all of those people are not coming back. What I'm saying is that I think my problem with the pro-Palestinian side is that we are so optimistic, happy with the small victories, but on the ground they're winning everything.
Yeah, so it's the old quote from Martin Luther King, and I think maybe Longsworth or something about truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne, but that scaffold sways the future. So there is that paradox that you're right. So like we're super excited about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tom Massey backing us, and then you go and wait. That's 2 out of over
535,
right?
Yeah, because also there's a lot of like Democrats from their side.
Yeah, no, there's Ro Khanna, there's Bernie to some degree, et cetera, et cetera.
We're talking about 10.
So no, like overall, we got a letter signed by 50 people saying, "Hey, stop sending bombs to Israel." That's 50 out of 535. 2 on the Republican side out of, nearly 300, 250 to 300 members of Congress that are Republicans. So I'm agreeing with you. Like we have from 2 to 10%, they have 90%, 98%.
Yeah, and I imagine like 2 years of bloodshed and like really like live streaming and genocide, and we only go down up to 10%. That's what else could be done?
I know, so I see that crystal clear, right? And then Larry Ellison says, to your point, we're going to monitor every citizen.
Yeah, so they can be on their best behavior.
On their best behavior, and they use Gaza as a testing ground.
Yeah.
Palantir did, and some of the other tech companies, so they could surveil us. So if we lose in 2028 and the Palantirs and the Ellisons win, their candidate wins, then I'm worried you're right. That eventually what they're going to do is they're going to colonize and occupy America.
But the thing is, like a democratic president will not change that kind of momentum.
No. I'm not talking about a Democrat or a Republican.
But the thing is, my point is not that people are aware. Okay, this is where my pessimism comes from. I come from the Middle East, where everybody in the Middle East know that their leader is a piece of shit. Sorry. They know that everybody above is corrupt. They don't know that these people are the worst people there. But they cannot speak up out of fear. Here, you'd either not speak up out of losing your job, or they're just like too little to actually create an impact, and they are going to be used as, see, we have freedom of speech, we let those people speak. But they continue doing whatever they want above. Because whoever's going to come from the right or from the left, from Trump or whatever, they have people on both sides, and it is the allegiance of Israel that comes number one. All of the other issues, the Republican, Democrat issues, abortion, gun control, immigration, healthcare, these are secondary issues.
Yeah,
so whoever comes in power.
So look, the American citizens are always secondary in this corrupt system.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just Israel, big pharma, oil companies, defense contractors, they're all listed above us.
But the big pharma is not taking you to war.
Yeah. Although they do kill Americans because the health insurance companies, right?
They kill us legally.
Yeah. And look, over 70,000 Americans die every year because they don't have health insurance, because we have a ludicrous, corrupt health insurance system.
That's their problem and their pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, exactly. And then they blame us for it. But I'm not talking about like, if a corporate Democrat like Joe Biden wins, or a sellout like Trump, who pretends to be anti-war and independent America first, wins, but then does the same exact thing Israel wants, then you're not going to solve it. My point is, then Palantir wins, Ellison wins, the pro-Israel radicals in this country win, and they start to totally control the American population and snuff out freedom, right? But if one of our guys, whoever it might be, and I don't even know who it might be at this point, right?
But use them?
No, I'm like a Ro Khanna or someone who's honest and
is there enough money to go behind those people? Because like those.
No, but remember Bernie, even before this issue came up or anything, raised over $250 million in 2016 and 2020 from the grassroots,
and he was defeated by his own party.
No, I get it. So, but what I'm seeing, because of how much they've lost ground with younger voters, how much ground they've lost with right-wing voters, and this difference of the infrastructure. Before, all you had was mainstream media, but now you've got us, you've got Tucker and Piers. It's a mess, but it's something, right? And you've got all of these different things that are sprouting up and going, no, they're lying. Yeah. And so look, Trump polled today out. Young voters are gone. He had an 8-point lead and now he's down minus 55 with young voters, okay, under the age of 30. Now, why? Why did he lose all the right-wing voters that are young, all the independents who are young? It's down to 75 to 20. Like 75% disapprove, only 20% approve, okay? The reason he lost them all is because none of them watch mainstream media. You know, when you say that mainstream media is the Iron Dome of Israel, it's so true. Without Iron Dome, now all the missiles are landing, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, and in this case, it's not missiles that do harm. This is actually truth, right? And the truth is starting to land. And where's it landing the most? Among the young, because they don't watch any TV. That's absurd to watch. What do they watch? Jake Tapper?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God! Don't do that. That guy, he single-handedly pushed the laundering of the rape hoax of October 7th for months, and he would bring people from Israel who were unverified, who had lied on their testimonies many times, and he would just every time Israel like bombs Rafah or Gaza, let's talk about the rapes that happens in October 7th. Like every single time, that guy.
So look, the rape one.
F you, man.
Yeah. So look, all the propaganda about the decapitated kids, and then actually Israel, you saw the decapitated Palestinian kid. Yeah. So like almost every accusation is a confession when it comes to the Israelis, right?
100%.
And so the baby stuff, the ovens, all absurd. And then by the way, they later didn't drop bombs on Palestinian kids and burn them alive.
Yeah.
That's what a bomb does, right?
Yeah. But you see, this is about shock and awe. Like they go out at the gate with like a huge emotional story. Decapitated babies, rape, so people get shocked. And then you are in a position where like you cannot like discuss that or debate that. And then after a month or two, like, oh, that didn't happen, but it's too late now to discuss it.
And in fact, to your point, so about a week ago, we get this spectacular story of Hamas has murdered 2 IDF soldiers. They broke the ceasefire, and then Israel attacks, and of course they have right to defend themselves. Then you find out from Drop Site News, no, Hamas had not attacked. They ran over their own unexploded ordnance, and it blew them up, and so it was their own bomb that killed them. To this day, every mainstream media outlet is still writing that Hamas killed those soldiers. It's a verifiable lie, and they just print it.
Yeah, well, how can we forget when Israel bombed Iran? And as Israel was bombing Iran, the leaders of the world is like Iran should not respond, or like Iran is to blame. It's like, guys, they're getting bombed, and you are blaming Iran. That's crazy.
No, my favorite is when the Israelis go, no, the Palestinians love the Israelis, and we're just protecting them from Hamas, and they really appreciate it. You know a lot of Palestinians who love Israel, right? Because they appreciate how much they're being protected in Gaza.
100%.
Yeah, I know a lot of Palestinians like that too.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no end to that lie, right? But now, brother, so the rape one's a little bit more mixed. There's some evidence that there's something happens. There's some that say it's unverified. But then Jake Tapper then turns around and go, oh, the Israelis were caught raping Palestinian prisoners.
Never.
That is absolutely confirmed. And then they returned some bodies recently in the exchange, tortured, sexually assaulted. Missing organs, come on. And no mainstream media, no, it's anti-Semitic. You better not say things that are true about Israel.
Yeah.
Right? Because the most anti-Semitic thing in the world is facts.
Yes.
Because it isn't about anti-Semitism. It's a trick, it's a weapon that they're using to defeat all enemies of Israel and crush them.
It's just noise.
Yeah, but despite all that, in this optimism, pessimism thing, okay, do you not see mainstream media wobbling? Yeah, they still have the building, but the windows are blown out. It's kind of like a ghost town. And now the building's wobbling back and forth, right? And remember, forget the politicians, they're all crooks, and we could expose all of them as crooks the minute you have an honest media. And the dishonest, disgusting mainstream media is about to tip over.
We've been saying this for a few years, but the thing is they need the mainstream media to talk to that certain demographic. They know they're dying, and then I think they're already planning for how to diversify out of it. Maybe they will break it up for smaller stuff and make it online. But yeah, the mainstream media, they still have a huge microphone. They still like reach millions and millions and millions of people. You look to any post even on social media for Fox News, 5,000 comments, like 10,000 comments. They still have a huge bulk of people. There are a lot of people in America, in the middle of America. That's all they see. You can't just like judge on the big cities.
No, I
and
hear
that's
you,
why
but I see the polling.
that's why they have the of course they're not as they used to. But man, it's not just like the mainstream media. I mean, like even from the 90s, there were the Drudge Report, the Daily Wire, PragerU, Breitbart. All of that is just they control it. It's not like they're like just hiding behind the mainstream media. They are very, very, very active in the digital media and then very, very, very powerful too.
Yeah. So then let's finish your super dark vision for the future. Okay. So what do you, in your view? So they reconstitute media somehow, and one of our Jewish members wrote in earlier today and said, "Oh yeah, they're doing the World Zionist Congress in maybe it was yesterday." In Israel now, and they're saying out loud how we're going to control social media and the influencers and get a lock on American media again to make sure that they don't mind when we take Gaza, right?
No, I don't think even it's about Gaza anymore. It's about taking over the West Bank. It's about the vision of greater Israel that they are talking about it like right in your faces. I mean, every time, remember when we say like they are going to displace Palestinians outside, it's like, oh, that will never happen. It's happening. They will kill like half of the Gaza. It happened. Everything they said they're gonna do, they're doing it. We're gonna annex the West Bank. Oh, that's not gonna happen. It's happening. And now, they already annexed like a huge part of Syria already. What prevents them from now going into like greater Israel, even bit by bit? And that's why they need that. So my dark vision of mine is that it's gonna be like a holy war. Maybe they can like blow up the Al-Aqsa, like have that temple with the red heifers thing that they're doing, which is like basically we're ruled by maniacs. And now the dark vision is the end of the world.
Okay, all right. Well, now you can all root for me because there's
gonna be no time for Shing to do anything.
So I would be shocked if that happened.
Why? There are people who are actively pushing for the apocalypse.
No, not because they're not pushing for it. They absolutely are. To your point about the Christian Zionists, so those are the guys going around saying, "Oh, we have to destroy Al-Aqsa Mosque,"
and they have conferences in DC attended by Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, talking about how they brought the 7 red heifers, like paid $500,000 and imported it to fly it to Israel. I did an episode with Mahdi Hassan about that, and the conference is online. They have rabbis, they have politicians, they have Mike Johnson, and they talk about like how it is essential to burn these cows, and they put it in water so people could be purified, so people could go into the third temple, which will build over Al-Aqsa.
Yeah, no, I know all of that. I've known that the entire time, and every time we said it, the Jake Tappers of the world would be like, "Oh, that sounds conspiracy."
Conspiracy. It's just like, how is it? They're talking about you see, they're talking about it openly, and then when you point it out, you're either conspiracy theorist or you're an anti-Semite.
Yeah, so that's to be expected. But what is not expected was Tucker Carlson the other day did a segment on how much he hates Christian Zionists.
Yes.
Right? Like he loathes the Christian Zionists. And I had a right-wing pastor call me. Okay, it's off the air, off the record, so I'm not gonna say who, but somebody that's very recognizable called me to say, "I'm sorry, you were right." So Israel has been tricking us the whole time. This is not the Israel of the Bible.
And, wow.
Okay, and he said
what an epiphany.
They're starting to question those total BS books in the 1970s that is not in the Bible. It's just some BS preachers wrote it here in America. Oh yes, you have to support Israel. That's what the Bible says.
That's all from the Scofield Bible, 1907, 1909.
Yeah, and the Scofield Bible, and that pastor mentioned that as well, right? So now eyes are starting to be wide open. What are they gonna do? So speaking of Noam Chomsky, right? Obviously a well-known anti-Semite. Okay, he's Jewish if you don't know, background. And so Chomsky and I had a conversation just like this a couple of years back during COVID, and he seemed weirdly hopeful. And normally he's in the Bاسm Yusuf school of pessimism, right? and you know he's super old even back then. And then I asked him, I said, "What's going on? Why are you hopeful?" He said, "Cenk, you can never convince the Jake Tappers of the world, the guys who are already in power." Like all this trying to convince them is useless. No, they're getting paid. There's infrastructure. It's already that pie is baked.
He's already pro-Israel, but he's just like, might as well be paid for it. Like Amy.
Yeah, and I said, okay, so what? Okay, I know that too. So where's the hope? He said, no, we already moved the young. They're screwed. Okay, once you move the young, it's just a matter of time before they get into power. And so to that point about the J.D. Vance clip from yesterday at Turning Point USA, you think all those young right-wingers are going to go back to kissing Israel's ass?
No. And again, I'm going to inject a little bit of my pessimism to tell you, because I've seen that happen in corrupt countries before. The vast majority of young people, usually, their heart is in the right place. Even if they were delusional, they come back. But the problem is, who will get to the point of power? Will be the kid who had an encampment or asked J.D. Vance, or he will be the informant who turned this kid in and take the money and run for the student union and then go into Washington and then go into politics and then run into a campaign with a corrupt politician, because corruption likes company. And they need the corrupt people, because you see, I remember I told you this. We already agreed that we know that most of these like politicians, they have sex tapes, they have, raping charges, raping accusations, pedophiles, whatever. They need them there because they pick and choose them only if they are corrupt. So they know that they can always control them. So the good ones are weeded out throughout the process as you go up.
Yeah, I mean, I have a million stories about that show that you're right about that. So, I was on UCLA's campus, did an interview with their local radio station. Kids are scared to death. And why? Because guys like Bill Ackman put out a letter saying, if you ever participated in a pro-Palestine protest, we're going to put you on a blacklist, and you're never going to get to work on finance, etc. By the way, we don't control anything.
Yeah, but
we're going to ruin your career before it even gets started if you show any sympathy for human beings like the Palestinians. But I don't control anything.
Exactly. So now it becomes like money and power versus numbers.
Yes, that's exactly what it. But my point is, there's too many numbers. So like here, this is not a great example, but so we were talking about Greater Israel, right? So we know they're going to try to take West Bank, Gaza Strip. They say it all the time. In fact, we get a lot of our news from the Israeli press.
Yes.
Because the Israeli press is pretty honest, right? Yeah. They've got right-wing propaganda, but they have a lot of press going, oh, no. They put up a map of Greater Israel and they voted and they say never Palestine.
But you never see it in American news.
But you never see it in American press.
Yeah, that same way, remember Alexander, the Abramovich, the guy who the pedophile? That you can only see it on Young Turks, Breaking Points, and other like independent podcasts, but in the mainstream media, not a single mainstream media reported it. And all of those like late night shows and the comedy shows, they don't find this funny. Hey guys, you don't find this funny that like a pedophile in Israel, like kind of like flee to Israel with like, you can look it up, it's there. And like there's no material, there's no fun, there's no ha-ha, but let's go back and talk about Trump.
I asked Randy Fine yesterday if he's going to pursue justice for that guy.
Yeah. And
shockingly, he didn't have an answer to that. Of course he's not going to pursue justice. He's going to pursue injustice to make sure that guy gets away with it.
The guy called in through Zoom for his hearing from Israel.
Yeah, I mean, that is outrageous. Why are we making it
and then the Attorney General was like an Israeli national, which is what?
The one
you have like an American state that has like a double nationality guy, a person who would let a pedophile escape trial. That's crazy.
Imagine if it was an Egyptian national.
No, imagine if it's anything.
A Norwegian national, right?
Imagine if it's anything. Yeah. Oh my God, we'll never hear the
And the U.S. attorney in the area is Egyptian.
Oh,
it's you, right? Yeah. And you go, no, I let the Egyptian pedophile go. And he can zoom in every once in a while.
Egypt will be nuked tomorrow.
Right, I mean, the Egyptian government official was here to rape our kids, but I let him go because I'm Egyptian. What's the big deal?
And this is why. So this is why really the media is the Iron Dome, because you see, I had a conversation once with a U.S. senator, a U.S. congressman, and I lashed at him. It was a private dinner. I said you take money from Israel, whatever. And he said the average American citizen does not care about international issues or Israel. They care about healthcare, like guns, whatever. I said, yes, because that's what the media talks to them the whole 24 hours about.
Yeah.
The media, if the media would talk about 24 hours the same way that they talk about the other issues, like, let's talk about the liberal issues, like, oh, guns. Remember, like, how all of the the late night shows and the comedy shows like went to war with all of the senators taking money from the gun lobby, the NRA, and they would name them by name. And the school shooting and our kids dying in school, day in, day out, day in, day out, every single day. But like when a pedophile from Israel comes in and have an Israeli attorney general let them go, not a single thing.
Yeah.
And you know that our media can actually pin someone and put him into a scandal if they want to.
Oh, dude, 100% to me.
Like the way that they put Mamdani. I mean, having Mamdani as a Muslim to New York is not as important as having like a foreign citizen raping your children and then letting go. That is interesting.
Yeah, and you know, so, I mean, look, again, from yesterday, if Katie Miller had said that to Anderson Cooper, Jake Tapper, whoever, I'm gonna have you denaturalized and deported, right? Assuming that they had not been born here or something. I mean, that would be the largest story in the country, right? Yeah. So, and to be fair to the online world, it's been a huge story today online, right? Mainstream media, zero coverage.
Nothing.
Zero. They're like, oh, Cenk, he's a Muslim. He's from Turkey originally.
Yeah.
Oh, we already hate him. We hate him. Yeah. And he's anti-Israel. No, not a scandal. No big deal. No. Denaturalizing and deporting American citizens because they criticized Israel.
But
that's no big deal.
But then it is
oh, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. You did the wrong hand motion. Oh, you're washing your hands. Huge deal. Huge deal, right? Yeah. Like we were talking about.
Or even like a bigger deal, Mamdani eating rice with his hands.
Yeah.
It's just like so. It's just like, you know, like we shouldn't take them seriously anymore. Why are we still taking the New York Times seriously or CNN seriously?
No, I'm not. I think they're a joke.
They're a
total joke.
They're a joke. All of this like journalistic integrity is bullshit, man.
Well, that you can't find corruption in American politics. I mean, the whole adage is supposed to be follow the money, and they're like, no, I don't see Big Pharma buying them off. No, that's not why we can't negotiate drug prices. No, they're having real debates. You have to be a moron, like of epic proportions, to think that they're having real debates in Congress.
Yeah, real debates with 98% are financed by AIPAC.
Right, or oil companies and all these guys. So, okay, so, but on the numbers stuff, brother, last thing. Look, again, not the greatest example, but they're doing Greater Israel. They're grabbing all this stuff. Yeah, our media is ignoring it, mainstream media is at least. They now have Western Syria, they have Southern Lebanon. In Lebanon, if you try to build anything, they bomb the cement factories, Israel does. They're like, because one day you could have a building and then there could be a tunnel under the building and there could be a terrorist. I mean, all Arabs are terrorists, so we can't let you build anything. Of course we have to keep murdering you, right? Yeah. I got you. But then the people notice that Greater Israel stretches into a part of Turkey, right? All of a sudden Erdogan's like, wait, what? And he's like, that's it, I'm cutting you off, right? No more business with you guys, and you can't use our airspace. You know what was amazing? The next day, there's a congressman in like South Dakota or something, a Republican, and he starts talking about, you know, the real problem is Erdogan and the Turks. It's amazing. How did they get that talking point to him within like 24 hours? Mainstream media starts writing articles. You know, Muslim Brotherhood's reconstituting in Turkey.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And it needs like a kind of like insignificant guy from South Dakota. So because we need someone to say that. So it's been said, and then let's investigate. It seems to be something.
Yeah. Let's not investigate the genocide, but let's investigate a made-up charge against Turkey.
Let's not investigate the Greater Israel area that is there, like map that they're just talking in our faces that we're gonna take it away. It's like, yeah,
okay, all right. But the bottom line is, I think that the numbers are like, so the reason I brought up the Turkey thing is there's only so much you can push people before they go, wait, did you say you were gonna invade me? Right? And I think that what the American people are beginning to realize, I mean, remember, we talked a lot about the right wing, but the left is already gone 92-8 against Israel. 92-8, Israel is wrong in Gaza, okay? So they lost all of the Democratic voters. And now they've lost the majority of the Republican voters. So now when they come in with their load of BS, right? And oh yeah, Israel, bow down. You owe Israel. I just I think people are going to start voting them out.
I think we're going to see in the midterms.
Yeah, midterms are a little early. I think 2028 is Armageddon. Political, like either we win and we liberate the country.
Who's we?
We as Americans. I'm being super corny here, right? But I really believe it. Because I think that what's gonna bother the Americans the most, and it's begun already on both sides, is, okay, Palestinians, we care, genocide, it's ugly, you're killing kids, it's ugly. We care a little bit, right? And before they never cared, now they're caring a little bit. But that's not the main thing. The main thing is, here at home, we're starting to feel occupied. Do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, you are feeling, I'm feeling it, but I'm talking about the major, like the people who are watching Dr. Phil. They still have a lot of numbers. The people who go to the mega churches. The people who just watch like Hollywood news and don't even care about politics, and for them Muslims are still the bad terrorist people. I mean, I think we are, yes, there's a lot of awareness, but there's a lot, it's still a very long way.
We have to show people how to effectuate change.
Yeah.
Otherwise, their energy is going to be dissipated. They don't want to be occupied. They want America to be free, and they're starting to get this gnawing feeling that America is not free anymore.
Well,
right?
As long as you have like, operatives and spies like, Ben Shapiro and Bill Maher telling the Americans how to think about Israel. Yeah. I mean, those people, like, why don't they just like take the Israeli citizenship? Like Bill Maher is like such like a freaking. Like I like how Bill Maher always brags about being an atheist. I'm an atheist, and religion is bad. But it's like, and then the same people like, oh, Israel, it's the promised land. It's promised them, it's a book called the Bible. Dude, you don't even believe in that. It's like they believe in God, and they're like, we're God chosen people. Do you believe in that God? No, I don't. Allah? What?
Yeah.
What is this? What is this?
No. Yeah, Bill Maher is Sam Harris, same thing.
Same thing. Oh, this like we're atheists, but they're not atheists.
No.
They're atheists as like, they despise religion, but they are like they're all Israel's bitches.
Yeah, like when I say I'm an atheist, I mean it. I don't care about the religions at all, right? When they say they're an atheist, they literally say, except Muslims are the worst.
Yeah.
That's not an atheist position. That's a literally bigot position.
They will pile also on Christians. Okay, I don't know if I'm going over, but like I say something. Because this really encapsulates many things about the likes of Bill Maher. Bill Maher has this documentary called Religious.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Remember how he went to the Muslims and then like all about like, going martyr and killing yourself and 72 virgins and all of that. Then he went to the Christians, the raptures, the end of war, whatever. So he went and got the worst of these two, the Muslims and the Christians. Then he went to the Jews. Which Jews did he choose in order to platform as ridiculous? It's not
I don't remember. Yeah.
He went to the Naturi Karta, which is like a subsect in Brooklyn, and it's all over the world. And they are Jewish, but they do not recognize Israel's right to have a state unless the Messiah comes. So they consider Israel is like an atheist, secular country that is against the Messiah. It's an antichrist.
Yeah.
And he left all of the examples of all of the stuff that's happening in the Talmud and the Jewish faith and the Zionists, and he went to the people which their only problem was that Israel is in the wrong.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You see that the pick and choosing. You see, like he didn't care about every. He went in and he handpicked stuff from the Quran and stuff from the Bible to talk about like young marriage, child marriages and killing yourself and killing infidels. Well, there's in the Talmud, there's a lot about like stuff that if we say it, it's going to be anti-Semitic. But he didn't bring that.
Is the Talmud anti-Semitic?
The Talmud
because it's in the Talmud.
Well, if you say that makes you anti-Semitic. But you see how
eating dinner tonight is going to make you anti-Semitic. Everything makes you anti-Semitic. He picks and
chooses. When he went to the Jewish part, he didn't get the worst out of it. He just got something that would serve Israel's political agenda. So he's complete. I remember Bill Maher. I'm an equal opportunity offender. You're not, and you're not funny anymore. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, so in Sam Harris, the interviews debate that we did like over 10 years ago, about 4 hours. So that's some interesting viewing there. But in the middle, he admitted, yeah, because he's like, oh, it's a text. The Quran has the worst text. I mean, I'm opposed to all the religions, but the Quran makes Muslims worse because of how terrible the violence in the text is. So then I started reading from the Old Testament, and he's like, you're right, the Old Testament's worse. Okay, so then why aren't you? But
then he will keep on going talking about Islam, and he'll never speak anything about Jewish people.
Never, because they're giant liars.
Yeah.
They're bigots, and they hate Muslims, and they love Israel. Israel to them is number one. Everything else is dead last.
They, because they're gonna pick this up and like, oh, he's talking about the Jews.
Yeah. No, let me be super clear. I'm talking about Bill Maher.
They will cut this.
Sam Harris. No, Ben Shapiro.
No. In the clip, edit it so he will see as if he's talking about Jews.
Yeah. Don't worry, they're gonna do it anyway.
They're gonna do it anyway.
It's amazing. We say Israel, they say Jews. We say Israel, they say Jews.
Just say Jews.
I don't want to say Jews because I don't. It's not Jews.
But the thing is, but they can say Muslims all day long. They can say Christians
all day long. No. The only thing you're not allowed to say, but they don't control anything.
Yeah.
They don't control anything, but you're not allowed to ever criticize Israel. You can criticize everyone else ad nauseum.
They're gonna get this, and they're like, Bاسم يوسف and Ching. This has become anti-Semitic rant.
Yeah, of course. But Boston, that's why I'm encouraged. All right, we got to leave it at this. But brother, now again with this big blow up happens on Piers Morgan yesterday. You read the comment section on every website that's covered it, okay, including X, very right wing these days, and there's no one supporting Katie Miller or Randy Fine. Right, left, middle, doesn't matter. They hate them. They hate them.
Yeah, well, they are good as actually. Do you notice that they always put forward their worst people? Like,
do they have good people?
Like Rabbi Shmuley and Mike Rappaport. I think they're doing that on purpose. I think they don't care about being hated.
I think that part of what they want to do is draw in the hatred towards Jewish people, so they can hide behind them.
Exactly.
So that Israel can go, oh, you see, they hate Jews, so we have to. We have to. So self-defense.
They've been doing it.
Self-defense.
They've been doing it all. And you remember the whole idea when the army soldiers, they dance with the lingerie and they dance with any army in the world has discipline. They will not be allowed to put that online unless it was encouraged, unless it was allowed, unless it was actually pushed, because I talked to like a professor in London, so like they're doing that on purpose, so everybody was like hate Israel. Part of it is like, it gives them the excuse, and second part of it is like, they actually believe that like on the dogmatic side, is that the whole world will be against Israel. So they need like, give me more hate.
Yeah, and it makes the Israeli citizens keep voting for people like Netanyahu because they think, oh, the whole world hates us. We have to protect ourselves by getting someone like Netanyahu who murders everyone around us because they hate us. So we had to murder them first. We had to.
A bunch of psychopaths, man.
Right. So unfortunately, look, you know who winds up being right at the end of all this is the guys that Bill Maher was making fun of, the Jewish guys who said, don't do Israel because it'll be an enemy of Judaism. It'll go in a nationalist direction, which is the enemy of religion, and you'll destroy Judaism if you do Israel. There's some chance they were exactly right.
100% right. 100%.
I mean, of all things in the world, Jews against Israel turned out to be the most prescient group there is.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
I miss you, Anna. I'm sorry you weren't there. I miss you, Anna. I came for you, not for him.
Next time.
I enjoyed it.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Much love. Oh wait, Boston, where can people check you out?
Oh, Bاسم, @Bاسم on Instagram, @Bاسم Yusuf at X, and website basimyusuf.xyz. I'm going to Arizona tomorrow. We Halloween weekend and San Antonio next weekend.
All right, and Israelis are going to want to check it out even more because on Halloween he's one of the scariest guys you know.
Yeah,
right?
That's my Purim.
All right, we love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.